There is a reason your mind ignites like lightning when you want to change, yet collapses into silence when you try to begin. You stand in the doorway of your own ambitions, staring at the battlefield, unable to step forward, yet unable to walk away. This conflict is not weakness. This conflict is the hidden architecture of an ADHD mind, built for storms. You live in the tension between fire and frost. You feel the hunger to start, the urgency, the pressure, the spark demanding release. Yet your body refuses to move. It feels like invisible chains coil around your will, pulling you into stillness. You hate the pause, but you cannot outrun it. This friction shapes you, even when you swear it is destroying you. People who never carried your wiring think this is laziness. They look at the unfinished tasks and call it a choice. They do not understand that your mind is a storm engine without a steering wheel. They do not see how every thought multiplies, how every intention becomes a maze, how a single hesitation becomes a cliff. You are not broken. You are navigating a different kind of gravity. Your challenge is not starting. Your challenge is the invisible weight that surrounds the moment before starting. That silent second feels endless. It stretches like shadow across your entire chest. Your brain breeds beginnings like danger. Uncertainty hits like a blade pressing against your focus, and the world becomes loud inside your skull. The freeze is not failure. It is an overloaded system protecting itself. But here is the darker truth. You do not simply struggle to start. You also cannot stop. When the hyperfocus switch flips, you become unstoppable. Hours vanish. Hunger fades. Noise dissolves. You descend into your task like a soldier into war, refusing retreat. This is your hidden power, the one the world underestimates. You burn brighter because you carry storms that others will never feel. This duality tears you apart. One part of you feels like a ghost, drifting through unfinished days. The other part feels like a weapon forged in heat. You are never in the middle. You are either frozen or blazing. This is the contradiction that shapes your entire existence. Yet inside this contradiction lies a truth most people never learn. Intensity is not a curse. It is a crown you have not learned to wear. You were built for depth, not speed. Your mind dives into caves that others ignore. Your attention does not scatter because it is weak, but because it is searching for meaning in every direction. You sense patterns that others miss. You feel emotions that others numb. You carry sensitivity like a blade that cuts you and saves you. This intensity is the birthplace of your creativity. But the world told you to shrink. The world told you to slow down. The world punished your storms and rewarded your silence. So you learned to doubt your fire. You learned to question every impulse. You learned to guilt-trip your own brain for not behaving like everyone else. The shame you carry is not yours. It was handed to you by people who feared your difference. You are not lazy. You are overloaded. You are not slow. You are processing too much at once. You are not unfocused. You are focused on everything. ADHD is not a broken machine. It is a high-performance engine running without a manual. You learn to survive with it. Now you will learn to wield it. This is the beginning of your psychological ascension. The reason you cannot start is because your brain demands clarity before movement. If the path is foggy, your momentum dies. If the task feels too large, your nervous system locks the gate. Your freeze response is not weakness. It is protection. Your brain is guarding you from failure, from overwhelm, from chaos. But you will learn to turn this guard into your ally. The reason you cannot stop is because your mind was built for immersion. When you find something that aligns with your inner fire, the world disappears. You enter a state that others envy but cannot understand. Hyperfocus is not obsession. It is mastery in motion. It is the warrior state of an ADHD mind, unleashed. You do not dabble. You dive. You do not sample. You devour. But this power comes with a cost. Your energy surges in storms, not in steady streams. You move in waves. You rise in spikes. Your life becomes a pattern of intense sprints, followed by brutal crashes. This is why you blame yourself for inconsistency. This is why you question your worth. Yet this cycle is not failure. It is your natural rhythm waiting to be refined into strength. You have spent years fighting your own nature, trying to force your mind into a cage built for someone else. But you will break that cage. You will learn to use your intensity strategically. You will learn to break tasks into fragments that your mind can attack. You will learn momentum rituals that ignite your first step. You will learn to weaponize your focus instead of fearing it. You are underestimated because your fire is unpredictable. People fear what they cannot measure. They feared your storms because they did not understand them. But the storm is your birthplace. It is where your instincts sharpen. It is where your spirit forges steel. The same mind that freezes is the same mind that conquers. You only need to know how to command your own weather. Your next evolution begins with awareness of your dual nature. You are both storm and silence, both pause and explosion. You do not need to choose one. You only need to harness both. The world will not recognize your power until you recognize it first. This journey starts now. You have spent your life feeling the tension between two versions of yourself. The one who wants to rise, build, create, conquer, and the one who shuts down the moment the first step comes into view. This internal conflict feels like betrayal. You feel like your own mind is pulling you backward every time you try to move forward. But this tension is not your enemy. This tension is the forge where your future self is made. There is a moment that happens before every beginning. A moment most people never notice because their minds do not feel it. But you feel it like impact. You feel it like pressure against the rib. You feel the weight of starting, the fear of failing, the intensity of wanting to do everything correctly from the first second. This is why your feet freeze. This is why the clock keeps turning while you stand still. You are not resisting the task. You are resisting the emotional weight attached to the task. Your mind magnifies everything. A small beginning feels like a mountain. A simple step becomes a test of identity. This is not weakness. This is sensitivity sharpened by a fast mind. You sense the entire journey before taking the first step. You see the pressure, the expectations, the potential outcomes. Your brain does not initiate movement until it feels safe enough. Begin. But you can train this. You can lower the emotional barrier. You can build rituals that open the door. Here is the hidden truth. Your freeze is a message. It is your mind warning you that the cost feels too high, the path feels unclear, or the stakes feel heavy. The freeze is not meant to trap you. It is meant to signal you. The moment you understand this, you shift from self-blame to self-command. You stop fighting the freeze. You start decoding it. That is the first step of psychological transformation. The second step is understanding your fire. When your focus ignites, it becomes nearly unstoppable. The surge of clarity, the speed of thought, the immersion, the intensity. This is not normal. This is exceptional. Most people will never taste this level of mental fire. Hyperfocus is not addiction. Hyperfocus is a gift that turns you into a force. But intensity without direction becomes chaos. You must learn to channel this fire with intention. Your mind moves in storms. You feel things deeply. You think in bursts. You create in waves. You ascend through intensity. You are not designed for quiet repetition. You are designed for meaningful impact. This is why boring tasks feel impossible. This is why your motivation collapses when the task does not feel purposeful. Your brain is wired for significance, not routine. When something matters, you become a warrior. When something feels empty, you become a ghost. But here is where the transformation begins. You can assign meaning. You can create significance. You can turn small tasks into missions. You can connect simple actions to larger goals. Purpose is not something your brain randomly discovers. Purpose is something you attach. The moment you make the reason clear, the fire returns. The moment you shrink the mountain into a stone, you can begin. The third psychological shift is identity. You will never outrun your mind. You must become the one who commands it. Most people try to change habits through force. But force collapses when the mind does not believe in the identity behind the action. You do not need more discipline. You need a new self-image. You need to see yourself as someone who begins, someone who moves, someone who acts through the freeze. Identity creates momentum. Identity turns effort into instinct. Your storms have shaped you, but storms do not only break people, they also build people. You have survived pressure that others would crumble under. You have carried emotional intensity that others cannot handle. You navigate life with a mind that feels everything at full volume. Do you understand how powerful that makes you when trained? You were not built to be average. You were built to be sharp. You have been living with the weight of shame. Shame for unfinished tasks. Shame for late starts. Shame for the days when your energy disappears into silence. Shame for the chaos in your mind. But guilt never builds anything. Shame never transforms anyone. You do not rise through punishment. You rise through understanding. The moment you realize your mind operates on different physics, you can stop fighting yourself and start training yourself. Your sensitivity is not fragility. Your intensity is not instability. Your emotional depth is not weakness. These are traits of a mind built for creativity, intuition, pattern recognition, and innovation. Your brain sees connections that others miss. You notice details others ignore. You feel signals others do not register. These are gifts. These are advantages. These are weapons, waiting to be sharpened. The world told you to calm down. The world told you to quiet your thoughts. The world told you to stop being so much. But the world was wrong. You were not meant to be small. You were not meant to be soft. You were not meant to dilute your fire, so others feel comfortable. You were meant to rise in your own way, at your own pace, with your own storm. When you cannot start, remind yourself that you are not resisting action. You are resisting uncertainty. Break the task until it feels safe. Create a path so clear that your mind sees no threat. Bring the mountain to its knees. Break the beginning until it becomes impossible to avoid. When you cannot stop, remind yourself that this fire is rare. Direct it toward your future. Channel it instead of letting it control you. Hyperfocus is a weapon. Aim it deliberately. This journey is not about becoming normal. This journey is about becoming unstoppable. You do not need to fix your mind. You need to understand its physics. You need to master your storms. You need to build systems that ignite your fire and soften your frost. You carry a mind that can move mountains when aligned. This is your turning point. This is where the freeze becomes a signal, the fire becomes a tool, and the storm becomes your identity. The next stage begins now. There comes a moment in every ADHD journey when you stop asking, "What is wrong with me?" and begin asking, "What am I capable of if I stop fighting my own design?" This moment is the breaking point. This is the psychological snap, where the old identity cracks, and a new one begins to rise. You have reached that moment now. The storm that once dragged you under is now the storm that will lift you. Your life has been shaped by unfinished beginnings and unstoppable bursts. You have lived inside a cycle of guilt, pressure, and intensity. You have felt like a runner whose legs do not move until the race is half over. You have felt like a soldier whose weapon fires only when the battle is almost lost. But this cycle is not permanent. The mind that froze can learn to march. The fire that burned uncontrollably can learn to aim. The storm that overwhelmed you can learn to serve you. There is a pattern inside you that you have never noticed. Every time you hit rock bottom, you rise harder. Every time you break, you rebuild. Every time you fall behind, you return with a force that scares even you. You have survived emotional hurricanes that others never felt. You have lived with mental chaos that others never understood. You are still here. You are still rising. That alone proves something. Your mind may be chaotic, but it is unkillable. You are not weak. You are untrained. You are not flawed. You are unshaped. You are not lost. You are learning your own blueprint. The world has spent years telling you what you are not. Now you will learn what you are. You are a high-intensity mind, built for impact. You are a deep-feeling mind built for meaning. You are a relentless mind built for storms. This is your truth. Your transformation starts with momentum. Momentum is everything. For the ADHD mind, momentum is fuel. Momentum is identity. Momentum is stability. When you begin, you awaken a part of yourself that does not want to stop, but you cannot wait for motivation. Motivation is unstable. Motivation is emotional. Motivation is weather. You need momentum rituals. You need actions so small that the freeze cannot stop you. You need beginnings that are so tiny they bypass the threat detector inside your brain. Start with 10 seconds. Start with one movement. Start with a micro step that feels ridiculous. But start. You are not building a habit. You are building ignition. Once the ignition sparks, the fire follows. This is how warriors with ADHD rise. They do not wait for the storm. They kickstart it. Your second transformation is emotional mastery. ADHD minds feel everything, but feelings do not need to control the path. You can learn to separate intensity from action. You can learn to feel the storm without drowning in it. You can learn to treat emotions like weather patterns, not commands. Emotional overwhelm does not mean weakness. It means your inner receptors are powerful. Powerful sensors require powerful grounding, breath, stillness, naming your state. One deep pause creates clarity. Clarity creates movement. Your third transformation is identity shift. The freeze collapses when you stop seeing yourself as someone who struggles. The fire sharpens when you see yourself as someone who finishes. Identity drives behavior. Identity creates instinct. Identify yourself as someone who moves in storms, not someone who hides from them. You are not behind. You are not late. You are entering a version of yourself that most people never reach. Now you rise as someone who understands their own wiring, someone who stops fearing the chaos, someone who knows nay to convert storms into strategy. You ascend, not by force, but by alignment. You ascend when your mind stops fighting itself and starts fighting for itself. There is a darker truth beneath all of this. You have lived through years of being misunderstood. People judged your inconsistency. People questioned your potential. People assumed you were unmotivated, careless, or unfocused. They did not see the battles you fought in silence. They did not see the pain behind your lateness. They did not see the storms inside your skull. They saw the aftermath, not the war. This is your revenge, not by hurting anyone, not by proving anyone wrong. Your revenge is becoming the version of yourself that no one believed you could be. The version that moves with clarity. The version that finishes. The version that commands their own storms. The version that rises without apology. You are not broken. You are built different. You are not slow. You operate in waves. You are not inconsistent. You are intensity in motion. You are not lazy. You are overloaded. You are not fragile. You are sensitive in ways that create. You are not lacking discipline. You are learning your own rhythm. These truths will reshape everything you believe about yourself. The world does not understand minds like yours. It fears what it cannot measure. It rejects what it cannot predict. But you are not here to be predictable. You are here to be powerful. You are here to be sharp. You are here to rise in ways that others cannot comprehend. Your mind is not a problem to solve. Your mind is a force to unleash. You will build systems that match your storms. You will create structures that amplify your fire. You will design routines that trigger your hyperfocus. You will trust your intuition. You will trust your pattern recognition. You will trust your sensitivity. You will trust the rhythm that has been shaping you for years. The freeze will not control you. The fire will not burn you. The storm will not scatter you. You will walk through all three with a steady spine. You will move in silence. You will carve your path. You will rise without asking permission. This is your moment of ascension. This is where your old identity dissolves. This is where you stop seeing yourself through the lens of failure. This is where you claim your power. The world is not ready for the version of you that understands your own mind. But that version is coming. That version is inevitable. That version begins now. Subscribe for the next transformation.